So, my good people, I want to talk about this. Hope everybody's having a fabulous day. Today is Thursday. Yes, today is Thursday, the 12th of June. Okay. So, I watched Ron Killings, used to be R-Truth, Ron Killings, on Busted Open Radio. Natalia was on there with the guy that's normally on the show. Now, Bully Ray wasn't on this episode. Now, I'm going to tell you what I saw. I saw Ron the Truth Killings still in character. / glad to get some things off his chest that he'd been wanting to say. Now, common sense. The type of anger, now he said he wasn't mad. Nah. Bullshit. And if you wasn't mad, then you were just clearly in character. Okay? Plus, I've seen Ron Killings talk in interviews, and he don't talk like that. So if he's talking, this is what I'm saying. I feel like he doesn't, okay, he's still employed by the WWE, and he says he's not mad, right? But all he's showing is anger. I'm going to tell you what I saw. When I'm watching him, I feel like he wanted to get this stuff off his chest for a long time. Now he finally gets the outlet to do it and a reason to do it. He's talking about how he's in control now. Nobody's telling him what to do. Nobody's dictating his life no more. What is he talking about? Plain and simple. All of the ass kissing and the bullshit that he took from people in the WWE. He accepted these roles, whether he wanted to do it or not. He wasn't going to really put up too much of a fight because guess what? It's his job and he don't want to get fired. All I am is a comedian in the ring. What do they need me for? They understand what I'm saying? They'll fire me. And now, with what he's, with where he is right now, and coming back with this Ron Killings act, he's going to be more serious. Now, I would say it would be funny if he ends up beating John Cena for that belt, because a lot of people think it's going to be Cody Rhodes that's going to do it, right? And get the belt back or whatever. But bottom line, now, it would be stupid if they do this. And the WWE, they just might. It would be stupid if Ron Killings beats John Cena, becomes World Heavyweight Champion for like 30 seconds. And as he's celebrating with the fans, all of a sudden Seth Rollins' music hits and he runs out or whatever the fuck and attack Ron Killings, and then he gets the belt from Ron Killings. That would be some bullshit. If Ron Killings did win the belt, I don't see him holding it for a long time, but I feel like, and he's saying, put some respect on my name. Man, do you guys realize every fucking thing coming out of Ron Killings' mouth is what the fuck I said the very first night we knew he got fired? Every fucking thing he said. I swear it's like he saw my video. He saw other people's videos, but the things that he said is what I actually said. Is what I'm saying. And he's like, people think I'm just a comedian, I'm just a joke. Yeah, because that's how the fuck they used you. Exactly. That's what you were. I talked about the Ron Killings of TNA. The serious Ron Killings. Ron Killings had a serious, when he came to WWE, and then he switched to that, dumb, little Jimmy Invisible friend shit and all this goofy stuff, and they felt like that's the fit that they wanted for him. So all of the anger and resentment he's showing is for the ass kissing and the shit he put up with the entire time, and him talking about people thinking they can dictate your life and call the shots in your life. And okay, what the fuck is he talking about? Who is he talking about? WWE Creative. What company is he talking about? The WWE. That's where he's been the majority of his career. So bottom line is, it's another way of him letting us know. The same way we didn't like how they use his character, he didn't like it either. Okay? When he says he loved R-Truth, well, he's playing R-Truth. He's the one playing it. That's what he said when he stood on that table, right? And before he shaved his head. And see, the whole point to all of that is he accepted a role. He know that people gave him backlash at play. It could even be people in his family. Yo, why they got you playing a clown? Wasn't I the fucking one in the video that said, why is this man playing an overgrown child at 53 fucking years old, man? Like, when is he going to finally wake up? When is he going to finally grow up and do some grown man shit? Look, Jimmy, and all this goofy shit coming out at the fucking Women's Royal Rumble, scratching his head like he don't know the difference between fucking men and women. This shit is entertaining to y'all? Oh shit, look at you. Oh, here nigga wildin', son. Oh, yo, this nigga trying to get in the Women's Royal shit, yo. Oh, yo, this shit is epic. Shut your bitch ass up. That's epic. That's entertaining. This motherfucker don't know the difference between a Women's Royal Rumble and this is what the fuck AEW is supposed to do? That's the type of shit AEW is supposed to do? Like Eric Young, for example, winning the Knockouts Championship when he was in China. That's the type of shit AEW is supposed to fucking do? Come on, bro. Now all of a sudden the man don't know the difference between a woman and a men's battle royal. I mean, like, come on, bro. Like these stupid gimmicks. So now, Ron Killings, I'm pretty sure every stupid idea that they ever had for him, things that they did that he didn't want to do, like, I mean, come on. Out of all the championships that people talk about in the WWE, none of them belts really mean shit. It just depends on who's holding it. And they showed you, I told you, Jey Uso is nothing but a gimmick. What did I tell you guys, man? All this shit here, that shit only gonna go but so far. I told y'all he was nothing but a gimmick. He can't wrestle for shit. Let's just be real. He can't wrestle. He's limited as fuck. He's just a gimmick. And his character, even though in the building, the fans is sitting there dancing with him and all, he's doing nothing for the ratings. The ratings are still slipping. All that just to lose the belt back to fucking Gunther. I told you guys. I mean, LA Knight could have got the belt. Gunther again. I told you guys, man. And the fact that he beat Gunther with his own move and he immediately taps out, I mean, everything, man. And he's just a gimmick. See, gimmick wrestlers, this is my point. They don't get respect if they can mark you like this Iguana Man in AAA. Yeah, trust me. Watch AEW, I'm in WWE, go after this Iguana Man guy. Watch how they try to market him, because I'm telling you, anything that they think will sell merchandise. See, guys like Danhausen, right? Sting even, like with the, kids will look at their image and that's something like a kid, they might want a shirt like that or an action figure, stuff like that. So this Iguana Man, he's a gimmick. He's a little scrawny, skinny little motherfucker. He's a gimmick. But that's what I'm saying. That's the type of shit that the WWE try to market. That's what they do. So no, you're not going to be our top star. But if we can push you to sell merchandise, hell, Penta, he has a look that, I can see kids dressing up like him on Halloween or like, he has that look, but Penta really can wrestle. They just slow him down like his brother Ray, right? But none of them are clowns. That's what R-Truth had become, a clown. So when I'm watching him speak, like I said, he was in character. But even in character, the things that he said was clear and direct shots at the WWE creative. So, yeah, man. And I think that's why he said, I'm not mad, just because of the simple fact that, people can sense that he was. And I guess he don't want people in the WWE to feel like, hey, look, man, don't make us look like bad guys, man. I mean, too much with the anger or whatever. Probably something to that effect. But right now, the interest that people have in Ron Killings is to see how he performs when he's in the ring. Now look at how funny this is going to be. He went from being a clown that can't beat no fucking body. When the last time he won a match? Right? And then he had a little brief stint with the Miz one last time, a couple of months ago, whatever it was. what is he gonna do now? Now he's back to being a serious guy. He gonna go in and just start destroying people. Once again, his name is not ranked up there with a CM Punk, or Seth Rollins, or Roman Reigns, and Drew McIntyre. They don't have his name linked to guys like that. He's more linked to mid-card guys. And he was the bottom of the bottom, just a comedian. That was the only thing about him. People just, his character, and the fact he'd been there so long, so they embraced him. He's not mentioned in the same name as category as a Randy Orton, Undertaker. See, and this is the thing that people don't understand, is one thing about wrestling, about the WWE particular, they come up, and Jim Ross said this himself, they will come up with gimmicks for you, and in their minds, this is the gimmick that we want for you. If it worked, oh, Vince is a genius. If it don't work, then it's your fault. And that's just the way it goes. And the one thing that I look at with Ron Killings is the fact that he played that one role for so long that, like I said, people might go from cheering the fact to have him back to not liking this new character because he's no longer a joke. He's no longer being funny. You understand what I'm saying? This is the way people work, man. This is the way things are. I mean, so we don't know. Now, I don't think they need to turn him heel. I don't think they did, because if you turn him heel, it kills the momentum. They don't need to turn him heel. He just needs to be a man. Stop, this whole fucking overgrown 53-year-old overgrown child bullshit, because it's not entertaining to me. It's corny as fuck. It's garbage. And I don't find it funny. I don't care about that shit. People sit up and give you top 10 funniest. Fuck, I don't care about that goofy comedy shit. I never liked Doink the fucking Clown. When I was a kid, I used to just be like, seriously? Like, really? A clown? These stupid characters, the Repo Man. Come out, all this goofy shit, giggling and then, yeah, you were one of the demolition guys. I mean, it's like this is what they did. Dr. Isaac Yankem. Oh, so he's a dentist. No, Britt Baker is really a dentist for real. Isaac Yankem, Fake Diesel, Kane. They go through these characters. Look at what the Wyatt Six is. Captain Howdy used to run around the ring. Do you believe? That's why they like Joe Hendry so much. I believe in Joe. It's something about these silly, stupid, goofy gimmicks, man. Fandango, guy come to the ring dancing, and it's a party everywhere he goes. They show a backstage segment. They all just back to just dancing. Like, these people don't have lives. They just go from building to building, just dancing every fight. I mean, the stupidest gimmicks. This is where, when I look at what they're doing, okay? When I look at what they're doing with those type of silly ass gimmicks, and I'm like, see, the people that find this shit entertaining, okay, that's fine. You like whatever you want to like. The problem, though, is when you don't respect the fact that other companies say, no, that's not what we like. We don't do that. And for the record, in case you don't know, Ron Killings had put a tweet out where somebody said something about AEW, and he said, I'm definitely open to go to AEW. Yeah. You better fucking believe WWE didn't want the momentum of what happened and how pissed everybody was of him jumping ship. Oh, you better believe they didn't want that shit to happen. And one thing I can guarantee you is the Ron Killings that you're seeing right now is exactly what you would have saw in AEW. Nobody cared about that clown shit, man. Booker T was a clown too, man. I'm gonna do a little backspin. I remember that motherfucker ran out to the Royal Rumble. He ran in the ring, did his spinner Rooney, and then got thrown the fuck out. He won the King of the Ring, and all of a sudden, a king, a Booker. I'm like, so now you got an accent? What's the other dude? He might really be African, whatever, Nigerian, Apollo Crews. All this time, this motherfucker been wrestling. He was talking like an American, just regular. Then all of a sudden, he starts talking with this out of nowhere, this accent, and he sounds stupid. It just didn't. You know what I'm saying? Whether he's really from that, I don't know. I don't care. You know, I forgot where Bobby Lashley's Bobby Lashley is from, or his heritage or whatever. But bottom, all of a sudden now you have an accent. I used to see this motherfucker. I used to work with a guy like that, man. I used to work with a guy like that. And he would see me all the time. Yo, big dog, what's poppin', baby? Yo, this and this and this and that. Yo, we hooping? Yo, I want to go play some pool, right? Because I was like, yo, I'm going to hit you up. We going to go play some pool. What's up with that? Yo. And all of a sudden, I remember they had the West Indian Parade and shit. And I've known this dude like 10 years. Never in my life heard him talk with a Jamaican accent. So what happened is the motherfucker was born here. He wasn't born in Jamaica, right? And I think his father is Jamaican, but he don't even know his father. So his father's side of the family, I guess when they come around, all of a sudden this motherfucker, hey yo, I was trying to do such and such a thing, but I think I'm yo, what you do, man? They say, you go talk to the man and let him know what you want to do. Boy, and I'm just looking at him like, all of a sudden, everybody that saw him had the same look on their face. Not that you should be ashamed where you from. What I'm saying is, all of a sudden now, you understand? Now all of a sudden you Jamaican. Okay, now imagine you're playing a character that the world is watching, and all of a sudden you have an accent out of nowhere. I'm just saying, this is the goofy shit that the WWE is known to do. But they just chose to make Ron Killings. What does the truth mean when you fucking live in a lie? So just because they put truth in your name, what does that mean? I'm watching this guy, and like I said, I watched him in the ring, and the dude was a solid performer. I remember he was calling out John Cena when he was over there in TNA. I remember he did an interview and said he whooped John Cena's ass and everything. Then all of a sudden he leaves TNA, he comes to WWE. John Cena, it was funny in his promo when he said, R-Truth is nothing but a guy who walks around pretending to be him, right? So I believe now there's going to be some heat between the two of them, and they're probably going to have another match. And I said, don't be shocked if R-Truth be the ones, if Ron Killings be the one that end up taking that belt off of John Cena. But if they do some short-lived bullshit just to say he was the champion for 30 seconds, like I said, and then Seth Rollins cash in that briefcase and pin him, that's going to be some bullshit too. Nobody, like I was saying before too, about these titles, there's no real prestige with these titles, man. First of all, there's no prestige because it's fake fighting, okay? But when you look at the people that held the belt and all that, who the fuck cares about a fucking 24/7 championship? Who? It's like I don't even watch award shows. You know, I can. Last time I watched the Grammy show, I was like a teenager, man. I never watch them just to watch them. It would be like people in the house watching shit, and you in the house, and you. But I never on purpose, just on my own accord, just went and watched. But it's like, man, I remember one time some award show was on, and they was giving out who got the most swag award, Pimp of the Year award. I'm like, are you shitting me, man? So in other words, okay, since you motherfuckers can't win no awards for your music, since you can't sell a record, let's just make up some bullshit category just to give you some type of award. And that's pretty much what that 24/7 belt was. All the mid-card guys, you would never see fucking Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Johnson. You would never see them running around looking stupid, running past people being interviewed with smiles on their faces. Chasing for some belt. You can win the belt, the winning belts in the bathroom, the golf course. It's like it was the stupidest fucking concept, man. This was just some dumb shit. When I would watch it, I'm just like, so who cares about a 24/7 championship? They make a big deal and talk about John Cena being the greatest of all time because he broke Ric Flair's record. He's a 17-time champion. John Cena's not a better performer than what Ric Flair was, but John Cena did what he did and it worked for him. And he wrestled every week damn near he was coming out, he was showing up, and he was there. He was the WWE. He carried the WWE. You gotta, respect, where he stood with that. But my point is, they'll debate between, Ric Flair 16 time and whatever. Who the fuck ever? How many times did Ron Killings win that shit? 24 times. Who the fuck ever brings that bullshit up? So the U.S. title, the Intercontinental Championship, and all that, like, those are sub belts. But you understand what I'm saying? Those belts, people will talk about Ricky Steamboat and Macho Man and like all the different people that's held these belts throughout, United States Championship and all. Ain't nobody talking about no fucking 24/7 belt, man. It's a clown belt. It's a bullshit belt. It's a bullshit belt. Who the fuck? I was the 24/7 champ. Even the name of that shit is stupid. The concept was stupid. I'm like, damn, why don't y'all just film an episode with somebody in their house sleeping and somehow you got there with a camera and the motherfucker was yanked out the bed and pinned. Like, goddamn. It was such a stupid concept. Now, for Ron Killings, just like anybody else that take a role in the company and accept the role, what's worse, okay, what makes it worse for Ron Killings, like we know, the amount of time that he was there and how they stabbed him in the back, threw him out like trash, told their fucking staff that they cannot wear any Ron Killings merchandise whatsoever. Then have Triple H sit there and lie, okay, at the presser or whatever you want to call that shit, post-show, whatever, and he sat there and lied to his audience and said that shit was scripted. It was a part of the fucking story. It was bullshit. Ron Killings shot that shit down. No, it wasn't. It wasn't no work. That was no fucking work. They fired my ass. And that motherfucker sat there and lied. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of shit that Ron Killings wanted to say, and he bit his tongue about it. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of things that Ron Killings probably wanted to do differently, and we're going to do this. Like, I read something about Shotzi, right? She said that Vince McMahon had told her she has a good character, right? But she's muddying it up with her coming out with the army tank and all that and this and that or whatever, right? And I'm like, let's look at it. Stone Cold pulls up on his four-wheeler. Undertaker comes out on his motorcycle. Eddie Guerrero will come out on his fucking, have his cars jumping and all. So Shotzi coming out with the army tank, what was wrong with that? It just wasn't to Vince's liking. But somehow, R-Truth character, him coming out, cracking jokes, making people laugh, then get pinned every fucking week. How does this help his character? You just keep wanting to see him win. I forget what's his name, Johnny Swinger. He was in TNA. And Johnny Swinger's character, his character was he kept losing match after match after match after match. When he finally won a match, the fans were so behind him that it was like, they went crazy for him when he finally won his match. And then I don't know what happened, but and that's the thing with Jack with him. He became a fucking clown. Johnny Swinger was a real dude when he was in TNA earlier back in the day. And his last stint with TNA was him just being a fucking clown, man. Laughing at corny ass joke, had that fake ass stupid villain from a fucking superhero movie laugh, and he just couldn't beat nobody. That was his fucking thing. And he dressed like, they had him dressed like one of the wrestlers back in the 80s and shit. But his gimmick was just being a goofball. This is exactly what I'm saying. Eric Young was a goofball. At some point, you changed that shit. And to be honest with you, WWE disrespecting Ron Killings the way they did, that would be if Eric Young would be the R-Truth of TNA. He left that goofy shit alone a long time ago, but I mean his loyalty, but he was there with them from day one. But he started out with that goofy shit. Every time he would come out in the pyro go up, he'd jump, like he was just always getting scared and shit and all that. I remember he was scared to death of Sting and shit and all that. Sting was yelling, he was running from Steve, all that goofy, scary clown shit. Remember that? Don't fire Eric. Don't fire. Remember that? And that's what that would be like. That's what that would fucking be like, man. And it's like, so they show you that loyalty don't mean nothing to them. That doesn't mean that they learn from this shit. Like in the future, they won't do this to somebody else. It doesn't mean that. Don't think Triple H did what he did listening to you motherfuckers. Like, I just want my fans to be. No, that motherfucker did what he did because the backlash and people walking away. Because Money in the Bank had a half-empty fucking audience and people was really expressing like this was just stupid. And they couldn't just come out and say, hey, what the fuck? Why couldn't Triple H just say, listen, I'm not perfect and I made a bad decision. And I'm acknowledging that. And I'm going to apologize to Ron Killings because I handled that completely wrong. I'm glad that you guys voiced your opinions because you let me know how you truly feel about Ron Killings. And you know what? I didn't want to let Ron Killings go, but we did this shit the wrong way. And I'm bringing him back. And I hope that you guys understand and that going forward, we want to do everything to the best of our ability the right way. Sometimes there's going to be times we got to let people go we don't want to let go, but we did this the wrong way. And if Triple H would have did that shit, man, more than likely people would have people going to feel what they want, but I guarantee you the vast majority would have said, all right, I respect that, because he's owning up to the fact he did something the wrong way. Instead, he sits here and insult your intelligence and tell you it was a work. And you know what? He didn't expect Ron Killings to correct him, to tell the truth. Nah, it wasn't no work. He was fired. And even other people in the company spoke up and was like, nah, they telling us that we can't wear t-shirts, anything, nothing with Ron Killings' face on. They don't want the crowd chanting, we want truth and all that, and they don't want them interrupting the Yeah, this is what your Triple H does. And he wants to come out, I want to thank each and every one of you. 17,500, yeah, we sold out this and that. Okay, cool. And trust me, that tweet where Ron Killings said, I'm definitely open to going to AEW. Trust me, that shit right there too, I guarantee you had them like, oh, hell no, we can't have that shit. Candice LeRae, there's several people that was released from WWE. AEW have some people that was released from their company. And this is what happens in wrestling every single year. Every single year. Then you look at, okay, it's not about, this is one thing that's happening, and I'm so glad Tony Khan understands this. I'm so glad he does. He's showing that he understands this. You can't just depend on released WWE wrestlers. Like they're just going to come in your company and pow, okay, everybody's going to follow this. No, that's not how it works. You have to have something. It's like, example, when you create wrestlers, right? Create a character. Let's say, for example, how many times have you said, you know what, who I want to create? Oh, let me make this, right? And then all of a sudden you fill out your roster and you feel good about the roster, right? Then as time goes on, you're playing and you're starting to notice there's wrestlers on there that you don't even use. Now, you went from remembering someone to, I don't really use this person. And then you find yourself thinking of who else you could have made. Then, oh, you know what? And what do? Now you replace that person. And before you know it, you probably replace 5, 6, several different people. Now you look and go, all right, cool. Yeah, now you're using these people. It's the same thing in real life. Okay, this person is released, but how do I, long term, what can I do with this person? Because wrestlers need makeovers a lot of times. Cora Jade, for example, she's expressed interest in going back to AEW. Candice LeRae has expressed interest in going to AEW. Different people have expressed interest. Now, I like it better when it's a surprise. But Tony Khan is showed he's not just dependent on no fucking WWE releases. That's why I'm glad he went out and got Tekla. I like when I see him go out and get people from New Japan or the independent circuits, because we be knowing who these wrestlers are. And it's like, oh shit, okay, this person is here. And it's like I said, man, I don't, when you have a gimmick a weak ass gimmick. And like I didn't want to see Rusev Day going on in AEW. That was a WWE thing, man. And it's like what I said, when I look at Rusev, it's not so much his in-ring work, man. I mean, he's a strong dude, and he looks best when he just goes in there and brutalizes people. But just back-to-back 50 type matches are good. I don't see him in those type of matches. It's like certain people, they just don't, they're used a certain way, but in the long run, they're limited with how they can work with people and put a great match on. And this is where people need to understand, because see, like I said, when Rusev came back to WWE, Rusev came back to a lukewarm as, like a very mild reception. What are they doing with Rusev that you even care about? And especially you've been on that roster before, and you come back and you're in the ring with a bunch of mid-carders, or they put you in there with a top guy and you come up short. So people like Aleister Black, people like Rusev, Andrade, who really gives a fuck? You understand what I'm saying? Who cares? They're back. Okay, now what? Now what? They're back, so what? Now what? And this is what, when I look at Ron Killings, him making that comment that he would definitely be open to working, in AEW, right? My thing with that is, too, Tony Khan isn't the spiteful type. Oh, hell yeah, let's just, right away, because for one, you have to have, AEW has a stacked roster. Now, they're letting some people go, of course, and like I said, it's going to be every year. Because when you have people on your roster, look at WWE had Braun Strowman, and like they were paying him well, but they wasn't using him, and that's what they let him go for. What, 2021 was it, or whatever year it was? So it's like now they let him go again for the same reason. Now for AEW to bring Braun Strowman in can't just be because he's a former WWE guy. Plus WWE wasn't using him right. Now what are you going to do with Braun Strowman? That when he come on AEW programming, not only are you seeing Braun Strowman, but you're seeing a different Braun Strowman, a better Braun Strowman, a more improved, or like, what do you see? This is what people got to understand. It's not just, let's just get this person and then figure it out later. Sometimes that problem, pretty sure that happens, they get people over, and that's a problem. Because once you get a person there, you got to make room. And then two, if you bring somebody in, you got to always look at, are you bumping somebody else's spot with this person? Because they bring people in and they put them in these high-profile matches right away, yet you got guys that's been busting their ass already on your fucking roster. You know what I'm saying? And when that happens, you got to understand how you're monopolizing things. This is why I said it's good. It's good to have, like when they had Rampage having 3 shows, was 4 with ROH, but it's good to have multiple shows for that reason, because now you get to put people, only thing is Rampage is only an hour, but you get to put people on these different shows, where as you get 5 matches, right? Or you get 5 matches on Dynamite, you get 5 matches on Collision. And so my thing with that is, with backstage segments and interviews and all that stuff, and promos being cut, everybody's not going to always wrestle that night. But when you're putting these storylines together, man, when you have such a big roster, people don't understand. It's a lot that goes into that. So this is what Tony Khan does, is, if you notice, he'll have certain people wrestling in Ring of Honor. So they're still wrestling, still, getting the paycheck and still being in the ring and being seen. But Ring of Honor is a YouTube show. But bottom line is, you're seeing them. So what they'll do is they'll take certain people and, okay, let's put this person, let's, put them over here, and they're having their feuds and beef in Ring of Honor right now as well, and then we'll maneuver some people. So they do it that way. And so it's not about being desperate, man. And like I said, with Ron Killings anyway, a lot of these fake-ass fans sitting up here claiming they wanted him back so much. If he had went to AEW and you wouldn't have followed him, you just as big of frauds and hypocrites as Triple H and anybody else in WWE that does cutthroat shit. So, me watching this man speak, I'm like, yeah, he want to get this shit off his chest. he definitely wanted to get this off his chest, and he definitely didn't like the way he was treated. And that's why all of this is coming out now. So you can have people that you become friends with in this company. You can find yourself in a situation where you feel like, okay, I did what I did in the WWE, and I had good times and bad times. Yeah, ups and downs, but for the most part, everything is good. Right? Everything is good. And for that to be the case, now that I'm here, like if he was in AEW or something, well, first of all, he's in AEW, you shouldn't be talking about the WWE. Okay? Basically, in the way he left, he definitely would have had something to say in a promo where he take a shot at them, or multiple shots at them. But what I'm saying is, when you can say all the things he said, it lets you know that he was angry. He really was irritated. He was in character, though, at the same time. And he pretty much wanted, because even Talia and them was like trying to be careful with how, like, just, with their words. He was irritated, man. He was irritated. He was probably hurt, at the same time, because he felt betrayed. Like, man, all the work I put in for these motherfuckers, and this is what they're going to do to me. But, this is what I'm telling you, man, is like, people don't understand the dictatorship and all that. Everybody that leaves the WWE, they say the same thing, that they just feel relieved. They'll say, like, oh, I had a great time, at times and stuff I did there, people I met. I definitely appreciate my time there, but, like, I just feel so relieved. And all that shit is nothing but politically correct bullshit, because, hey, you just never know. They might want to bring me back one day or something, or maybe AEW doesn't take me. Or maybe AEW take me, then they don't renew my contract after a certain time or whatever. And then whatever. So they always want to be able to go back to where they can make another big paycheck. You see, they all say the same thing, that they just feel so relieved. And they say the same things like, okay, so I got my dream job, but then the way things went, it's just like, I just knew, like, I felt it, the way I was being used. They talk about how they just being back in catering, hanging out, waiting to be called sometimes. And they tell you these different things. Jonathan Coachman was talking shit about Bayley, and I guarantee you, people that follow Jonathan Coachman's show, and I know because I was reading the comments, people start turning their backs on Bayley. Yo, Bayley this, Bayley that. And I told you, it's the way WWE used Bayley. It's the way they use her. Now, haven't y'all noticed? Now, you noticed when Bayley came out the other night and she attacked the one that called Becky Lynch, when she kind of attacked Becky Lynch. Notice, this wasn't no smiling, giggling, laughing, corny joke telling Bayley. She just came out and jumped on her, right? And was like really intense and like serious. Okay. Now, we haven't seen a promo yet to see what direction Bayley's going in. They don't need to turn Bayley heel or nothing like that. But Bayley, I said the same thing. Her character had got stale, man. And every time you see her, she's somewhere smiling, chewing some fucking gum, showing up in somebody's face, trying to, like, the storyline that never developed between her and Roxanne Perez. I don't know what the fuck happened with that. But Bayley was just back and forth. She's wrestling on NXT. She's wrestling on Raw. She's wrestling on SmackDown. And for what? Look at how they used her. So it's like, yeah, you got to breathe new life into a character at times. That's why it's funny, man. I look at Sting as the Crow, right? That Crow look. Sting first came to NWA, just say, for example, and he spent this time there, which then WCW, was rebranded, and NWA went away. Sting went from having that flat top, that crew cut with the tail, looked like Guile from Street Fighter. And if you watch Sting, then he cut it down where it was shorter. Then Sting had like a whole different haircut. It wasn't blonde anymore. It wasn't crew cut. Sting changed his look several times. And the original Crow look, his hair looked kind of short and curly. If you remember, initially, the paint on his face was just white. And he just had the black lips and like a little, that his look changed several times. And I remember Sting saying he watched Hogan get booed when he came to WCW. He was there for a while, and he said they did the show and people was booing Hogan. Like, they really booed him out the building. And he said he was thinking, you know what? It's time to do something different. They change my look up, something persona-wise or whatever as well, because, that's what happens after a while. People get used to seeing you Take guys like Hacksaw Jim Duggan. He's the same every time you see him. Little blue trunks on, fucking knee pads and white boots coming out that 2x4. Oh, but he never evolved into anything else. It was just the same thing, and he was never like the main event guy. So, people just get used to certain characters, man, and that's what happens. And R-Truth became just a character that was there, nothing but a comedian. They reduced him down to that, man. And hey, I'm pretty sure he felt stabbed in the back. He felt hurt, felt unappreciated, and felt played. And he wanted to get that off his chest. So when he does this Busted Open Radio interview, he was able to get these things out. And he said what he said. But hey, man, just saying, I saw that and I thought it was interesting because, and Bully Ray just happened to not be there that day. Just like the other guy, man, Conrad. He's always talking to Eric Bischoff, but it's funny, whenever Jeff Jarrett, if it's an AEW person that they're talking to, for some reason, no Bischoff. Yeah, because he talks shit about AEW all the time. So it's like, man, what But anyways, man, we'll see what happens with Ron Killings going forward. And I understand what Bully Ray was saying, though. But Ron Killings is like, fuck you, man. Who the fuck are you to tell, who the fuck is him to sit there and talk about what the fuck I am and who I am, right? But I know what Bully Ray was saying. In case y'all didn't see it, he was basically saying that if you're Ron Killings, right, keep this more serious character. Don't remind us of what you were with the truth. Ron, I agree. Because what you were and what you got accepted for is also what you got criticized for. Because people didn't like all that buck dancing shit. So when your fans, see, it's like if you make music, right? And your music is to uplift people. It's to build people up. Your music has substance, right? And you have a core fan base. You're not the biggest seller in the world, but you have a strong core fan base because they really appreciate your music. And this person is poetic. This person has a message. This person, they give a fuck. They're speaking up for their community. They're speaking about just the injustices in the world and all that, right? And then your record label is telling you, man, listen, you hear this song right here? Right? This is what I want you to do. So now people got used to you talking about uplifting people and spreading love and just being positive and standing up to bullying and standing up to racism and all this kind of shit. And now you've been reduced to suck my dick, bitch. Nigga, I'll fuck your wife when you go to work, nigga. Blah, 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 blah. I got this amount of money. My house that big, nigga. I got 18 cars. Motherfucker, this and this and this and that. Yada, 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 yada. I'll fuck your daughter in front of your mother, And now, let's say you're selling more records. 10 times out of 10, you've lost your core fan base and gained new fans, and then you fall the fuck off. Then you try to go back to being that conscious guy and blame it on the record labels and this and that, but at this point it's too late. Then you done got older and now you got all these new artists out. You done made 10 albums and people only remember 2 or 3. You understand? This is the entertainment business. So Ron Killings, I get what Bully was saying, but that's why I said he was still in character. He's in character, but he's also really angry, for real. You can hear that shit, man. Like, when he's talking, it's just like he's like, who you think he is? Right? People think they can dictate your life and what you are. Yeah, all he's doing is talking about the WWE because that's what the fuck they were doing. Also, Bully Ray, the one thing I don't like about him, he talks like, see, this is what I don't like about Bully Ray. And I've said this before. Bully Ray is one of these fucking robots that talks like everything that WWE do is fucking golden. It's just like they can do no fucking wrong. So if AEW was doing a show and the building was half empty and you speak about it, why you don't speak about it when it happens to the WWE? Yeah. If AEW has a segment and these motherfuckers come out and have a hot segment, hot matches, and then you say some shit like, oh, I wish Adam Page and MJF would come to the WWE so they could be real stars. But then you talk about how much you love pro wrestling. Why would you want to see two of the top stars in AEW, two of the cornerstones on top of that? What Undertaker, John Cena, he came way after Taker, but you know what I'm saying? Like people like that, Shawn Michaels or Triple H, any of them, because that's Attitude Era shit. But bottom line is, and Undertaker was before the Attitude Era shit. Hell, the Ultimate Warrior almost made it to the Attitude era actually. But bottom line, what those guys are in WWE, that's what Hangman Adam Page is in fucking MJF, Darby Allin, Orange Cassidy. That's what those guys are to AEW. You're talking like they're just some random dude that just came in, had a mediocre run because they was being held back. No. So why would you even say some shit like that? And this is what I'm saying. It's just like somebody that go to college, right? Or go to business school or whatever. Bottom line, and you go to these job fairs and you go and nobody's hiring you, right? And they keep telling you we need somebody with hands-on experience. At some point, you're going to say, how am I going to get experience if nobody hires me? Right? I'm solid with this. I'm good. I understand my job. And whatever else I need to learn, it won't be a problem. But I need to get a start somewhere. Right? Reality. So my point is, where AEW is right now and where they're going to go, that's what we'll see. As time go on. But they're in a great position. They've been doing great. They've had their growing pains just like any other company. But Bully Ray, instead of being supportive of professional wrestling, he's won. Everything is all about the WWE. But then he'll go and wrestle for another company and make money with them. And I told you guys months ago, I said the reason why this motherfucker is glazing WWE so bad is because the possibility of him maybe one day working for them. Now he's working for them again, right? And this is exactly what I'm talking about, man. Like, these guys aren't professional wrestling fans. And the fact of the matter is, if there is nowhere else to go and WWE decides they don't want you anymore, aside from AEW, there's nowhere else, there's no other wrestling company, no other promotion you're going to wrestle for and make millions of dollars a year. There's no one company. This is why you see these people on independent circuits and they're going, like, think about this. If you're not doing house shows, or let's say you're not booked for a house show, and let's say, like, for example, take Mercedes Moné. Let's say, for example, if she's booked only this week for Dynamite. So Dynamite is on a Wednesday. Now, say she's not booked for Collision. That means she might be able to do a show somewhere else Monday and Tuesday. And she's going to get paid well for those shows. Now, she's on Dynamite. She's contracted under AEW. Thursday, she's wrestling somewhere else. However she take a break, if she decide, all right, I'm going to take a break on Friday, give my body a rest, or maybe the weekend. Or I'll wrestle Monday. Let's say I'll wrestle Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, off Thursday, let my body rest. Wrestle again Friday. Wrestle Saturday. However, as long as she's there to do what AEW has for her, cool. And then these other dates that she's doing with other companies, cool. My point is, that's how you make your money. When you're not signed to a major label, a major company, you're doing it independence and you're making, because you're high profile. But you better believe a lot of that's going to come from you going to CMLL, doing shows there, IWGP, AAA, shit like that, as well as the smaller independent companies. Now, TNA wrestlers, not one of them motherfuckers make millions of dollars a year. None of them. They don't have $1 million contracts. So the highest paid person in TNA is probably making like $500K or something like that, right? So my point is, for a guy like Bully Ray, who's been around forever, the Undertaker, all these guys, they're only going to talk about WWE. They're only going to sit here and praise WWE. They're not fucking stupid, man. They know, and deep down inside, they know this, man. It's great that there's an AEW, man, because shit, when guys want to go wrestle somewhere else, it's shit, man. Like, hey, guess what? Here's another $1 billion company. Another multi-billion-dollar company. Shit, that's great. Why would you be against that? You're worrying about competition. And I'm like, that shit is so played out. That shit is so old and stupid. Bottom line is, people have another company to go to, make a great living, and perform. See, this is the problem that I would have with anybody, is that you show up to a company outside of the WWE and underperform because you, for some reason, especially like if you've been to the WWE already, you have this attitude like you're bigger than any other company because you've been somewhere else otherwise. Bro, it's bullshit. And when you don't perform and then you get cut and you go running back to WWE and then get underutilized again, then you end up in like the NWA or MLW or some other company where nobody even really knows that you still wrestle until maybe they see something on YouTube or something pops up or whatever social media outlets they have that maybe they might find out somehow, not even looking for you, that you still wrestle. You know, Matt Riddle said something that I agree with the other day. He said that he would love to go work with AEW. Now, I don't like when people talk about other companies when they already employed by somebody else. I just feel like there's I feel like it's disrespectful simply because, for one, the MLW fans, if they get this sense that you plan on leaving them, you know what I'm saying? It's like for me, put it like this: if no matter what company I'm wrestling for, if like example, if I'm wrestling at MLW and you ask me about going to AEW or whatever, I would say, this is how I would answer it. I would say, look, I think it's great that you have multiple platforms, and especially like having another multi-billion-dollar company, because, you know, everybody is not going to stay in WWE, whether they leave on their own or whether they're cut. So now you know you can still go somewhere and still make a really great living, you know, and have another, you know, platform to go perform on, you know. So I think it's great all around. All these different promotions we have, no matter how big or small, you know, you get to go out and do what you love to do. Now, me being an MLW, that's all I'm focused on. This is home right now, and I hope that hey, man, that, you know, as long as things are going well for us here, hey, who knows, maybe I'll retire here. Why not say something like that? Let's think about it. Because if he sit there and say, like he said, he'd love to go work for them, I'm just saying. But that kind of shit right there, man, is what make people, like, see, the funny thing about it is when people say they love to go work for WWE, people act like, well, that's just the natural order of things. But if people say that about AEW, then you got people going, oh, why would you want to go to AEW? You know, and that's why I'm gonna say these Monet. Like I said, once again, why she had got heat when she first, like after a while, when she first came, she had been there for a little while. But then what happened in an interview, when she was asked about, you know, her going back to WWE, it was like, wrong answer, man. Nobody want to hear that shit. And that's what, and you know what Matt Riddle said, and I agree with him. He said he feel like Tony Khan has learned that people come from WWE and then they go there and underperform, and then they go running back to WWE. And I think that Tony is seeing that, because now he's starting to get talent from other places. I've been telling, everything I tell you guys, somebody will tell you the same thing months later. I keep saying these things because I see it and I understand it, okay? I speak with maturity, all right? And knowledge, understanding of how these things work. I'm not speaking from no fucking fan perspective. I'm speaking from just rationality and reality of this shit. For Ron Killings and anybody else, you know, he just happened to get his job back. But for anybody else that's been let go, and it happened in a way where they put time in, and I mean, even the fact that they did the way they did it, and then he just was recently in a storyline with John Cena. And then you can tell that the storyline wasn't over, because even after he lost on the following week, he's saying, I seen a difference in John Cena, and then people think that it was gonna, continue. I think the best thing that happened out of this, though, is that he finally got rid of that stupid overgrown child gimmick bullshit. And now he get to go and be Ron Killings again. Now, it's fucked up that it took that to happen, but you can't dwell on that. You got to move forward. Now, for anybody else, the same thing. If you go to AEW, if you go to TNA, if you go to NWA or wherever you go, don't go somewhere and half-ass it, man. Like you're bigger than the company. Lose that chip on your fucking shoulder. Because if you was all that, they wouldn't have let you go, right? Go there and perform the same way. I forget the name of the company. I got the DVD in the house. Old-ass DVD. And I remember, man, they had great matches that night, man. Great matches. And I remember, man, that shit was cringeworthy, though. Because what happened was the place that they went to, there was a big blizzard. So the roads are shut down, man. It sounded like it was like 3 people. It's like 2 or 3 people was in, literally. They wouldn't even show the crowd. All they would show is the entrance of the wrestler, and they would just show the ring. They wouldn't even show the fucking crowd, though. It was like literally like nobody there, man. Like maybe 2 or 3 people. Like literally. Homicide, everybody was put on, but Homicide and fucking AJ Styles, man, they fucking tore it down. And I'm like, they doing all of this shit in front of like less than a handful of people. Damn. Now imagine, and this is prime AJ Styles, okay? This is this is prime AJ Styles. But bottom line is, when I saw that shit, I'm just like, wow. Now just imagine, what would make you wrestle like that for an independent company in front of a fucking less than a handful of people, but then go to AEW or somewhere else and then underperform? Now, I've never seen, I don't feel like AJ goes and underperform wherever he's been. But what I'm saying, because AJ, you can tell he just loved to wrestle. He loved to go in there and do what he does. But I'm saying, when you go somewhere else, if you're underperforming, the fans are just looking at your name and what you've done, where you've been. They're not looking at what you're producing at the moment. And if you're not going there putting your best out, what does any company need you for? And so if your idea is, let me run over to AEW, make a fat paycheck, as soon as my contract up, hey, I know Vince, I know WWE is going to call me because now my name is shining and I'm in the only competition that they have in a professional wrestling. So they gonna want to get me back, and then as soon as my contract up, I'm gonna run right back over to WWE. And again, you're gonna go over there and be underutilized because they don't want your momentum. They don't want to bring you in. Like, people thought CM Punk was gonna come over there and become champion, right? Yeah, what happened when he went back to WWE? What did he do? Okay, so yeah, y'all. Yeah, Ron Killings did what he did. He said what he said, man. And I think that the guy really is just relieved in a lot of ways too, because now he get to be in a position of, doing what he should have been doing all this time anyway. It shouldn't have took him to become 53 years old for him to finally let him grow up and be a man and stop walking around here talking about his childhood idol that he's 5 years older than, these stupid ass buck dancing storylines. I didn't like none of that bullshit, man. I don't care about all the comedy stuff. I'm like I said, I could laugh at certain things, and I do have a sense of humor, but like that clown shit they had him doing wasn't respectable at all. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys right now. Talk to me in the comment section about Ron Killings. Catch you guys on the next video.